Today we're going to move on to 1.2. All right. So in the Unit 1 folder in 1.2, now we're looking at entrepreneurship, career choices, education choices, and how all of those play into your standard of living, the quality of your life, right? The things that you can afford, the comfort that you're able to live at, economically. All right. But today, what I'm going to have you do is walk through two presentations in the 1.2 folder. And the number of slides, if you're looking at just the raw number of slides, okay, it might be a little intimidating, but they'll actually go pretty fast and they'll relate to one another. The first one is called Get a Job. It walks you through just kind of the basics of landing that job, right? And so it'll talk through things like filling out an application, creating a resume, a cover letter, that job interview, follow up after you have the interview, and so on. So this looks at just the process of getting a job. The second presentation, and this one is a little bit shorter, it's called Invest in Yourself. This one specifically looks at the things that you can do to make yourself more marketable or to make yourself more hireable when you are looking for a job. Okay. And so it'll talk a lot about education and how, in general, we see that as our education level rises, our pay, our income level rises. Again, that's just kind of a generalization. We looked at earlier in the week how a college degree is worth about $1 million more in lifetime earnings than just a high school degree. And so while there are always exceptions to those rules, all right, in general, we know that as your education level rises, your income level rises in your lifetime. And so this talks through some of those issues, right? Different avenues to explore higher education, but also things that you can do in terms of apprenticeships and internships and just ways that you can accumulate and acquire skills that just make yourself more marketable. All right. So I want you to go through those two worksheets or those two notes presentations. And then you've got one worksheet down here. It's called 1.2 Dream Job Worksheet. All right. And so again, it'll ask you to make a copy of this when you open it up. Once it opens up, first thing, again, remove the copy of and replace that with your name. Then come down here and again, I would recommend zooming in on this because it's really hard to see when it's in a full screen mode. So zoom in on this, and what you're going to do is you're going to take some of those concepts that you thought of, that you looked at in the notes presentations, and apply it to if you could have any job, right? If any job were open and available to you in your future, what would your dream job be? So I want you to kind of describe what that dream job would be and why that would be your ideal job. If you could have any job in the world, right, why would that be? Then there are links here to two government websites, or it's one government website, but two different parts of that website. It's called the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And this first one is a subset on that website called the Occupational Outlook Handbook. And then the second one is just occupational employment stat. All right, use these two sites, and if you can't find the information that you need, you can use other sites as well. But I want you to research what some information about that dream job. All right. So, what kind of education level is required to get that job? Do you need a certain license or a certificate? Do you need, if you want to be an electrician, right? You need an electrician's license. If you want to be a lawyer, you need a law degree, and you need that you need to pass the bar, right? You need that legal license. You need a license to practice law. If you want to be a teacher, you need a teaching license, right? So there are all sorts of jobs and careers that require certain types of certifications to show that you have reached a basic level of competency, or a license that shows that you've gone through the necessary background, and so on. So what kind of requirements are needed for that job? The median annual wage or annual wage, right? So right at the 50% point, right? So median just means 50% earn less, 50% earn more. So if you're this job is a salaried job, right? What's the median 50% salary? Or if it's an hourly wage, right? What is that hourly wage? Then look at the top 10% of earners, the bottom 10% of earners, so you can get a sense of how spread out and how wide of a spectrum that pay is. All right. And then what kind of job forecast is in the future, right? Is this a growing industry? Is it a declining industry? Is it predicted that there'll be many more jobs opening up in that field, fewer jobs, and so on. And then just some common, like the very two most common introductory interview questions I want you to think through and kind of describe what your answer would be to those. All right. So that's the worksheet, the dream job worksheet. Then when you're done, I want you to review that video that walks through the SMART goals worksheet from the other day. Again, looking at where some of the responses kind of fell short from being that ideal response. So I walked through, you know, some student submissions and the things that were really good about that submission, the parts that they were really where they hit right on the mark, and then parts that were a little bit disorganized or where they missed the mark a little bit, and how they could go about rectifying that and changing it and improving it to get to that level 4 type response. All right. And then once you go through that and you get a sense of you know, those responses and how well they are, we're going to do one more practice with SMART goals. It's back on the 1.1. All right. And it's this choices worksheet. Some of you I can see already went ahead and have accomplished that. But this choices worksheet, again, is just more practice writing SMART goals. So again, once you make a copy, remove that part, add your name, zoom in on here. All right, so you can see that the first page is broken up into 2 columns. Essentially what you're going to do is find five items that reflect interests, values, activities, hobbies of your own, right? And so you're going to find these 5 items and then copy the picture from the web and paste it in this first column. Okay, resize it so that it fits within those windows. And then once you get a picture there, to the side of that, you're going to complete the sentence. I chose this item because, right? So I chose this item because you know, I have such and such hobby, and this is, you know, one of the elements that I need to continue to practice that, or whatever. Right. So read through that, get a sense of the 5 items that you would enjoy owning, that you would have to work toward, and then why you selected those 5. Then on the second page, you're going to select 3 of those 5 items. And again, practice writing that SMART goal by breaking down the 5 components: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely, and then put it together into a sentence form. All right. And so you're not going to write SMART goals for achieving all 5 of those. You'll just need to select 3 of those. Now, when you're doing this, right, on the front page, you can be as wild and extravagant as you would like, or you can be very practical, right? However you want to approach this. One thing that I'll just say to keep in mind as you're going through and writing these goals, right? Make sure that it would be something that you would have to actually work for. All right. So if I went and found like a picture of a Kit Kat bar and I said I chose this item because I've got a real sweet tooth and Kit Kats are my favorite candy bar, and then I came down and I tried to write a SMART goal for being able to purchase that, right? And I essentially said, well, I've already got the dollar that candy bar costs, so I'm just going to hit up Casey's after school, right? That's not a goal. That's more of just like an errand that you're going to do. That's just a task that you're going to accomplish, right? So make sure that you're writing goals that are things that you would actually have to strive for and work for, you know, as you know, something that would take a process, not just something like, well, I already have this, or I can already purchase this if I want. Okay, so on the front, if you want to have a couple of those items, just things that you would like to have, that's fine. But make sure the items that you select to write your goals would actually require setting goals and working toward those. Does that make sense? All right. So again, today we're going through the 1.2 presentations on titled Get a Job and Invest in Yourself. And then you've got 2 worksheets. Neither of them should hopefully take super long. We're just practicing SMART goals again, and then talking a little bit about what your dream job is. All right. Enjoy the day. We'll talk tomorrow. See you, everybody.